What do you do when the person you betrayed won't even acknowledge you exist? That question has been echoing in my head for weeks. My name is Isabel. I'm 32 years old. And somehow, I've become that woman. The one who destroyed the most secure, loving part of her life for nothing more than a fleeting rush. I never imagined I'd end up like this. Sleeping alone in a cramped studio apartment, wrapped in silence, haunted by memories I can't erase. It all began 6 years ago when I met Nathan. From the very start, it felt like magic. We connected instantly. 8 months later, we were living together. By our second year, we had bought a little house tucked away in a quiet suburb. People used to say we were the perfect couple. And honestly, I believed it. Nathan was steady, kind, attentive. He brought me coffee exactly the way I liked it. He'd rub my feet after long shifts. He never rolled his eyes at my guilty pleasure reality shows. With him, life felt safe. But somewhere along the way, the spark dimmed. For years in, our days blurred into routine. Work, dinner, TV, bed, repeat. The surprise dates disappeared. The little gestures faded. Even the long kisses we used to share were gone. It was comfort, yes, but also dullness. I noticed the distance. Fewer texts during the day. Later nights at work. And when he finally came home, his eyes barely met mine. Instead of facing it, instead of really talking to him, I let other voices creep in. "You're settling," my friend Kira whispered during girls' nights. "You're still young, Izzy. Don't waste your life being bored." Lana, who treated marriage like a hobby she picked up and dropped, repeated the same refrain. "If he's not making you feel wanted, someone else will." That's when Dylan appeared. The new guy at my office, sharp suits, confident smirk, and this way of making me feel like I was the only one in the room. It started with harmless jokes. Then came the texts, first about work. Then music, weekend plans, childhood scars. He listened. He laughed. He saw me. At least that's what I told myself. I kept insisting it was just friendship, but deep down, I knew I craved the attention. I missed feeling attractive, desired, alive. The first kiss happened after work happy hour, in his car, with music playing softly and our faces far too close. I went home that night nauseous with guilt, but also more alive than I had felt in years. At first, the guilt ate at me, but with every drink, every late-night text, every excuse to stay at the office, I found new ways to justify it. Nathan was too distracted, too comfortable, too blind. Then came the moment I can never take back. Nathan had said he'd be working late. I saw my chance. I invited Dylan into our home, into our bedroom, the same room where Nathan once kissed my forehead and promised forever. I won't go into detail. You already know. But here's the truth. It wasn't love. It was selfishness. It was ego, wrapped in wine-stained sheets and dim lighting. And a twisted part of me wanted to be caught. Maybe then Nathan would see how far apart we drifted. Maybe he'd finally fight for me. But he didn't fight. He walked away. That night, he came home earlier than I expected. Dylan was already gone. I was scrubbing lipstick off wine glasses, straightening pillows we had no right to lie on. When I greeted him with a kiss, he pulled back. "How was work?" I asked, pretending. "Fine," he said flatly. One word. No emotion. He skipped dinner. Didn't sit beside me. Slept in the guest room. The next morning, he stared into his coffee mug and said, "I want to break up." "What? Why?" I panicked. "I just do. You need to move out by next week." That was it. No yelling. No accusations. Just silence. An icy silence that screamed louder than any fight could. I begged. He refused. I called, I texted. Nothing. I reached out to our friends. Most stopped responding. Even his sister, who once called me her bonus sibling, was cold. "Are you seriously asking what you did?" she snapped before hanging up. And suddenly it hit me. He knew. I didn't know how. Maybe he came home earlier than I realized. Maybe a neighbor saw Dylan's car. Maybe he just felt it. But he knew. And worse, everyone else seemed to know too. The next time I saw Nathan was when he came to collect the rest of his things. I stayed, even though he asked me not to. I needed to hear it out loud. I saw you, he said quietly. In our bed. With him. My throat closed. I couldn't speak. That wasn't a mistake, he continued. That was betrayal. I begged, offered therapy, apologized, tried to explain. You didn't talk to me when you were unhappy, he said, his eyes hollow. You just replaced me. And now I'm done. And he left, just like that. 6 years together, gone in an instant. All I had left was the crushing weight of guilt and shame. Even Dylan turned sour. He kept reaching out, wanting something real, as if we were star-crossed lovers. I blocked him. Kira let me crash at her place for a while. But when I finally confessed everything, even she recoiled. You brought him into your house? She whispered. Jesus, Izzy. Eventually, I moved into this run-down studio with peeling paint and paper-thin walls. Took a new job, lower pay, but somewhere no one knew me or what I had done. Nathan? He's thriving. I heard through mutual friends that he got promoted. He's dating someone new. She's beautiful. The kind of woman who probably cherishes the man I so carelessly discarded. Sometimes my hand still hovers over my phone, tempted to text him, to beg again for forgiveness, to ask if we could ever be something. But I don't, because he was right. He owes me nothing. Not closure. Not forgiveness. I lost Nathan. I lost our home. I lost our future. And for what? For a hollow illusion of being wanted by someone who never really knew me. The worst part isn't the loneliness. It's knowing this was my choice.